Peace, King. Can you hear me?
Peace. How are you? I can hear you well. Can you hear me?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm definitely looking forward to this episode. I appreciate you taking out the time to stop by on the podcast. It's definitely an honor.
Such a pleasure to be here, and such an honor. Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So for the viewers who may not recognize you, let them know what your name is and definitely where you're from.
Sure. My name is Aswad Aarif. I'm from Oakland, California.
Oh wow, okay. Big shout out to the Bay, Oakland.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Some of the biggest and brightest and most creative and some of the most revolutionary, people that we've ever seen come from that area.
It's an amazing place to call home, especially as a black man. So much history here, and so much, like you said, it's just a treasure trove of talents and personalities, political views, social views. So much has been born out of the Bay Area.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So I guess I could ask you this: when did you develop this passion for writing?
Yeah, so I've always had a love for writing. It really blossomed during the pandemic. I'm a visual artist. I've done painting and multimedia and graphic design for years. And for some reason during the pandemic, I wasn't able to do art shows and things like that. We were all inside. And I had my a book that had been sort of running around in my head. And that's my first book called Maybe I'm Happy. And it's a social emotional learning book for young people. So since we were locked in, I just buckled down and wrote my first children's book.
Wow, okay, that's amazing. Now you say social emotional. Now what exactly is that?
Sure. So when we say social emotional learning, what we mean is recognizing that the human beings develop in a pattern of understanding and relating to the world through their own experiences. So helping young people to understand that their feelings and develop language for their feelings is one of the ways that we help them to learn that everybody has those feelings. So it's one of the ways that we develop not only an understanding of the inner self, but also develop compassion and empathy for others.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. That's interesting. Now I was checking out the cover of that book. So you illustrated and you wrote the book, right?
I did indeed, yes.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing. That's a blessing to be able to do that, because a lot
yeah.
of times some of our favorite children's books, it'll say illustrated by this person and written by that person, but to be able to do both and, just have such a, profound, necessary message, especially during the pandemic, so much was going on. And even still now, people still recovering.
Yeah, I really loved creating that first book. Like I said, it really sparked my love for, okay, this is a way for me to convey my two main passions, which are art and creativity, as well as teaching, specifically anything related to mental health, related to wellness.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Now the art, now when did you get into the art?
Oh, I come from a family of artists. So my mother was always drawing, painting, using pastels. So from a young age, she encouraged me and my sisters to express ourselves artistically. So my sisters and I, they do all kind of things like fashion design, illustration. I have a sister who's a filmmaker. Um, so yeah, art runs in the family for me.
Wow, okay. That's real cool. That's a blessing as well. Um, Now let me see. Okay, now I definitely want to ask you about some of your other books, but one book in particular, we discussed this via email. the Black Man Self Love Workbook. If you could talk
Yeah.
about that, what exactly is a self love workbook?
Yeah, so this one is a culmination of about 8 years of personal experience and a desire to increase and improve Black men's mental health and wellness. So I began leading and participating in Black men's healing circles around 2017. And one of the things that I found within myself, and eventually in talking with a lot of other brothers, is that our ideas of self care and self love are often centered around how we serve and provide for others, and that is a positive and noble thing to do. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I found myself when I looked internally, um, and say, okay, I know I want my sons, uh, to be able to do this thing that I'm having some challenge doing. So I can tell them I love you, and I can tell them, very easily that, daddy's life, I'm here for you. Um, but as they grow up, I want them to also be able to say, I love myself. So that meant I had to learn how to express love for myself. And self care is a component of it. So, but there's also, along with self care, self awareness, self acceptance, and having compassion for yourself. So a lot of the self-love work, it was born out of this understanding that we don't always have a heart, we don't always have the same inner voice for ourselves that we may have for others. So I give an example of, if I make a mistake, I have a tendency to be harder on myself and beat myself up and to demand a lot of myself. Whereas someone I care about, I'm more likely to say, "Hey, you tried your best. It's going to be okay." So I'm more gentle and loving externally than I am in my internal voice. So the self-love work is to help us develop an inner voice that is as loving and supportive uh, for others as it is for others for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's facts, man. That's facts. It's hard to forgive yourself, even if it's 20 years ago,
Yeah.
15 years ago.
And
Sometimes.
brothers have, we really struggle with that. We really can be really hard on ourselves, and we develop a narrative around it. We say that's how I keep sharp. That's how I build. But it doesn't have to be that way, and it doesn't have to be so hard to the point where we're not able to look at ourselves and hold ourselves with love.
Yeah, yeah, facts, facts. Now I can ask you this. You was talking about the work you was doing in 2017. We had the pandemic 2020, and now it's
Mhm.
2025. Have you seen a significant, I guess, change in, I guess, maybe the conversation or the openness or even, the stigma around mental health in particular, involving Black men?
Yeah, yeah. I think the conversation around the mental health of Black men is really expanding. It's really moving more into the public awareness, the struggles that we may have. I think, unfortunately, part of that has been um, uh, that we recognize that, and part of it is due to the pandemic, that men are facing an epidemic of loneliness. And these aren't necessarily men who are lonely because they have no friends, family, partner, anything like that. These are men who feel disconnected, even within family systems, even within marriages, even within relationships and friendships. So it really becomes this more of a matter of depth of connection rather than the number of connections. The result of that is we have seen an increase in the black men who have completed suicide. We've seen an increase of suicidal ideology and follow through with younger black men, which is really terrifying. It's been a number that's been increasing over the past 20 years, and the pandemic has helped to make those numbers even worse. So there is definitely been a change for in some of the more dramatic feelings of disconnection and isolation. But on the positive end, we've also seen a recognition of black men who are engaging in therapy, black men who are engaging in self care and wellness practices, whereas in the past has been largely stigmatized. It's been really hard uh, for black men to really sort of see themselves in involved in therapeutic and clinical processes. And we've also seen a positive an increase in the number of black therapists, which has been really helpful.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Now I can ask you a little bit more about the workbook. So is it like activities where they, maybe they have to write in the book, or is it more like physical, or is it mental, or is it kind of a combination?
Yeah, it's a combination of things. There are lots of what I put in the book. Again, like I said, they're from personal and professional life lessons and experiences that I've had. Is things that I've known to work for myself, clients I've worked with as a life coach, and brothers I've been in community and in circle with. So it's a combination of writing prompts, like journaling. It's activities, self-reflection exercises. There's also some assessments that are included. One I think that is very interesting for brothers to take is John is called the John Henryism um, uh, uh, assessment to measure your level of John Henryism, which is basically this concept of black men, even when we reach a plateau or a certain level of success, continue to work and work and work and work ourselves into poor health. Um, and so much of that is how we perceive ourselves, how we perceive ourselves, our value as human beings. And there's also a self-love assessment in there. But yeah, it's a combination. I tried to make a holistic sort of workbook that you can just write in. It's something where there's lots of pages for you to complete the journaling exercises, to do some art activities, um, to do things like write letter. There's an activity where you write a letter to your younger self and express things that maybe you didn't hear growing up that you wish you could tell yourself now. Um, so yeah, it's a amalgam of different activities.
Yeah, man, that is so dope. That's so dope. Our brothers definitely need that, and I'm sure when I share it with the group, they're most definitely gonna be, trying to get a hold of that. So where can they actually, purchase the book? Is it better for them to purchase it, from a website, or contact you directly, or Amazon or Google?
So we sell them directly through my website, which is the Science of Love, scienceofblacklove.com, and we also sell it through Amazon. So those are the two places they can get it online right now.
Okay, okay. Now you gotta let me see. I wanted to ask you about a couple other books, but before we move forward, was it anything else you wanted to add to that, or is that it?
No, I think that's about it for the workbook. I'm really excited to share this with brothers. I really feel
Mhm.
like it will be helpful. We're often, look towards in our communities to be the source of support and love. And I feel like starting with loving yourself, even though it may feel counterintuitive to some of us, is a great place to start. It's been, a lot of these practices have just been transformative for my life and transformative for my relationships. So excited to share this one.
Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. Okay, now I wanted to ask you, you got the Black Love Revolutionaries Handbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could talk about that.
So yeah, that was again born out of some of the restorative practices and circle work that I have been doing here in Oakland. I think we started doing those in 2014, so just a few years before I started doing the men's circles. And those were a series of um, healing circles that included individuals, couples, elders. It was really sort of all kinds of folks from the community to sit down and talk about this concept. And this is where my organization, the Science of Black Love, is really born out of. These conversations of, what does Black love mean? What is needed to foster and grow Black love? And most importantly, I think for me, how do we harness the healing properties of Black love? And so that's not necessarily just romantic relationships. It's also family relationships. It's also self love, but understanding this sort of I call Black love a miracle. I feel like everything that we've been through as a people, it's amazing to me that we still can look in the mirror, look at one another, and uh, not focus on the trauma or the pain, but focus on how amazing it is that we're just here, that we haven't been crushed, and that we still have the ability to love. So all that to say, we began these circles in 2014, 2015 or so, gained all these wonderful lessons, developed this model of the Black Love Healing Circle. I received some wonderful training from the Association of Black Psychologists on this model, the emotional emancipation model, which linked up. It's like, oh, okay, this is great. This is some stuff that I'm already doing. This just enhances it. And from that, we created the Black Revolutionaries Handbook, which is, again, it's a lot of different things. It's practices, it's reflections, but mostly it is a tool to gain a deeper understanding of how vital Black love is, how we foster it and grow it within relationships and within our communities, how we develop a deeper relationship with our ancestors, how we develop a deeper relationship with ourselves.
Okay, okay. Now I wanted to ask you, you had mentioned like circle work, man circle, healing circles. Is that the same thing? And what exactly is that?
Yeah, so when I say circle work, I'm referring to restorative circles, or restorative justice circles that model. It really is a leveling sort of tool. It's a way to bring in lots of different voices to make sure that everyone in participation feels heard, feels respected, feels seen. Um, Similar to a group therapy model, although you don't have to be a therapist to implement it. It's a way in which people have come together for as long as human beings have existed. Just as before, we may have come together around the fire at the end of the day, and share stories, share experiences, share insights. It's at the root of genuine democracy, because everything in circle is done and consensus as much as possible. But yeah, when I use the term circle or healing circle, it all refers to this model of bringing people together in equality to share their ideas, their beliefs, and their understandings.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. That's real cool. Now let me see. Okay, now I wanted to ask you about is it the Afronauts? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Afronauts, yeah. So that was another kids book I wrote. It was inspired by my during the pandemic as well. It was inspired by my middle son Rashad. He had wasn't able to visit his friends as much, and he had a couple of friends who moved away. And we started talking about what would it be like if him and his friends were able to reconnect in space and to be explored. So that was another fun one to write.
Okay, okay, yeah, that's definitely dope. That's very, very interesting. I mean, but what is that like though? You connected with your child? I mean, are they into writing too now, or into the arts as well?
They are very much so. They're getting very excited about it. My middle son and I are working on a mental health workbook for Black boys and teens called Cheat Codes. Um, it's a lot of hacks and practices and cheat codes for better mental health for young people. It includes ways to get in breathing exercises and de-escalation tools. And yeah, we've been in conversation about when my two youngest. We've been in conversation with about how they can maybe start putting some of their wonderful ideas down into a book.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. That's real cool. Cause I substitute teach. I've been teaching for maybe like 4 years. So
All right,
that's
beautiful.
something that we could if we could get it up in the school some kind of way, especially when they're young, young. Like the first grade, pre-K, second grade, and then by
Yeah,
the time they get to middle school, high school, they'll be be ready to go.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Mhm. Mhm.
I feel like we all got a book inside of us.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I
Yeah,
wrote a book. I wrote a book about my family history, but just going through that process, man, it's an amazing experience. To really,
it
everybody
truly is.
should at least try to write one book. Yeah.
It truly is. I completely agree. Completely agree.
Hmm. Okay. Now you got the Black Love coloring book.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
again, that's part of my bigger vision for the science of Black love. We believe in promoting, healing and unity and growth through positive images of Black love and relationships. So one of the things that I found is there are not a lot of images in popular media of just healthy Black relationships. If you look at TV shows, commercials, billboards, magazines, social media, we don't get a lot of just black couples being happy together. So I created a coloring book just as a way to increase the occurrence of just seeing healthy, happy Black folks in love with one another.
Indeed, indeed. We could always use more of that, man. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome, especially like you say on the TV and the movie and the TikTok and all that stuff. Yeah. Okay. Now, did I cover all of your projects that's currently out, or do you have something else you want to share that's out that's available?
Uh, I think that's all of them. If you go to the website, another project developed is an anti-racism curriculum called 100 Conversations about Anti-Racism. Um, so it's actually a deck of restorative conversation cards that were conversation starters, but they're all sort of put in a restorative format to share personal experience, reflection. Um, so it's great you mentioned that you're working in schools. This was actually a tool I developed for allies and for folks who want to do transformative work within systems, schools in particular. to really reflect upon how we have been impacted by racialized norms, and how we can move those systems towards greater equity, greater balance through crucial conversations, reflections on
Hmm.
policy and practice, and commitment to change.
Oh, okay, cool, cool. Now, can I ask you this? I think you mentioned you have a relative that's into like film or anything like that. Have you thought about doing
Yeah.
maybe a documentary or a movie, in relation to, the work that you've been doing?
Yeah. I've actually, we've actually had, that's my sister, my younger sister. Um, we've actually been talking about that. We actually both shared an interest in film for a long time. She took it a lot further than I did, and yeah, that is something. That is actually something to think about, to start capturing. Hopefully, some of the community healing work on film, and maybe how some of these projects develop.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be dope. We need to see that. That's a part of that representation. But also, like the Afro Knives, that'll be a dope movie. You got all these
I
Disney
think so.
cartoons, you know what I'm saying? Turn it into a, you know, because you got AI now, so I'm sure you probably what to do with it.
Right.
That'd be
Yeah, I
cool.
think the Afronauts would be a great little movie.
Yeah, yeah. Just by looking at it, and it just sounds very, very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think I covered everything. Was it anything maybe else you wanted to add, or
No, that's it. That's it. I really would love for folks, to check out all of my writing projects, and our website. But in particular, the Black Men Self Love Workbook. This is a really my passion piece right
Mhm.
now, and I'm really hopeful that it can help some brothers out who are on that journey towards building and increasing their self love.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I'll edit this episode, and then, like I say, I'll put it on my YouTube platform. It'll be with the other interviews. But then, if you could send me like a post, of the men's workbook, and then I could post that in the mental health groups, and then I'll pin it to the top. And then, if you want to post every day or once a week or something, I'll share those too. Just let me
That'd
know.
be awesome. That'd be
Yeah.
wonderful. I sure will.
Okay, okay. Well, I want to thank you again so much. This has definitely been an honor. I truly appreciate the work that you have done, and I definitely look forward to the work that you have coming in the future as well.
Thank you so much, and I so appreciate you, brother.
All right, peace, King. Take care.
Take care.
All right.